Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony will begin shortly. Please switch off your electronic devices and listen to the following safety briefing.
The University of the West Indies Sport and Physical Education Center, St. Augustine Campus, would like you to pay attention to the following announcement provided for your safety. All exits are clearly marked. Please identify those closest to you. In the event of a fire, if the fire alarm sounds, ushers will direct you to the large exit doors to the north or to the south. Remain calm and follow their instructions. In the event of an earthquake, remain calm. Do not run or panic. Stay where you are. Most injuries happen when people are entering or leaving buildings. While an earthquake can be frightening, the actual ground movement is rarely dangerous. Following an earthquake, there may be aftershocks. Take the same precautions for these. You may then be instructed to leave the building. Please do so in an orderly fashion, as directed by the ushers, through the large exit doors to the north or to the south. Remain calm and follow their instructions. Once you are outside the building, please proceed to the emergency assembly points located at the car park east of the outdoor courts, the rugby field southwest of this building. Move in an orderly fashion to these locations. This is an emergency procedure note from the University of the West Indies Sport and Physical Education Center, St. Augustine Campus.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the chant. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the Chancellor's procession and remain standing for the National Anthem.
be seated. Vice-Chancellor, Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, Honorary Graduate and Guest Speaker, Professor Emeritus Clem Sicharan, Pro-Vice-Chancellor and Campus Principal, the Open Campus, Dr. Luce Longsworth, Pro-Vice-Chancellor and Campus Principal, St. Augustine Campus, Professor Brian Copeland, Deputy Campus Principal, the UWI Cave Hill Campus, Professor Clive Landis, Pro-Vice-Chancellor, Graduate Studies and Research, Professor Dale Weber, Deputy Campus Principal, the UWI St. Augustine Campus, Professor Inda Ramnarain, University Registrar, Mr. C. William Eiton, Campus Registrar, Mr. Richard Saunders, Campus Librarian, Mr. Frank Sudin, Public Orator, Christine Carrington, former Campus Principal, Professor Emerita Bridget Berreton, Secretary of the UWI Alumni Association, Trinidad and Tobago Chapter, Ms. Lana Spencer, Deans and other members of the senior management and staff of the UWI St. Augustine Campus, Ms. Carissa Bridgelal, Valedictorian, President of the Guild of Students, Mr. Jonathan St. Louis Nahus, and other members of the Guild of Students, members of the private and public sectors, executive management of other tertiary institutions, members of the media, and our specially invited guest, most importantly, graduating class of 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your graduation ceremony. I have been told that the graduation ceremonies at St. Augustine have been growing steadily over the last decade. In this academic year just ended, 18,227 students were enrolled. This year, we have 38 PhDs being awarded. This is the highest ever achieved by this campus. But something else caught my eye. Trinidad and Tobago is well known as a place of many cultures. It is a meeting place of nations, and the St. Augustine campus reflects this. Here we are, the southern tip of the chain of islands, and we managed to attract 562 students from countries that are not part of the contributing territories. In fact, those 562 students come from 55 different countries. It is no wonder that this campus is so rich in diversity. You are leaving here today with a higher degree of appreciation of the diverse cultures that surround you. It will stand you in good stead. As this phase of your life comes to an end, so does another begin. This is the natural course of things. You are now about to set off on the greatest of adventures, your life. What you make of this adventure is entirely in your hands. You will only be limited by your own ambition. I advise you to aim for the stars, as nothing else should be good enough. The only regrets you are likely to have in life are not the things you have done, but the things that you wanted to do that you never did. You are now independent. You have the tools to make your way in the world. For many, this would be a time when you are rearranging the strands of your life. You may be leaving home, finding a job, asserting your independence. You have been described as millennials, as having a sense of entitlement, as not having discipline, as being self-absorbed. I know better. You suffer from a wonderful affliction. It is called youth. You will prove your critics wrong. You will be the greatest of generations. You have now completed this phase of your formal education and will soon have that piece of paper for which you have toiled so hard. The piece of paper itself is of little value. What is of immense consequence is the value of the education that you have obtained from attending university. The ability to think critically, to learn, is of far greater value than any material possession. It is an asset that you cannot lose or cannot be taken from you. It should be the foundation upon which you build your life. Do not allow anyone to ever tell you that you can't achieve your ambition or to discourage you from your dreams. Walk away from that advice. Believe in yourselves. Go follow your dreams. There will always be obstacles in life, but you can overcome them. The story of a young woman who is graduating this year with first-class honors, Darren Augustine, is a compelling example. At the beginning of her final year at the Faculty of Science and Technology, her sister was diagnosed with cancer. Darren dropped everything to be with her. A year later, her sister passed away. Darren was so devastated that she considered not completing her degree. In her words, despair, disappointment, and sadness filled my heart. I no longer wanted to continue. I was confused. I felt that my leave of absence was of no avail. I did not help her. I did not save her. Darren picked herself up and did not give up. Darren is from Dominica, and she has been dealt another blow. But we can be certain that she has the strength and resilience to meet this challenge. She is an inspiration to all of us. Let us give her a huge round of applause. We must become more assured of ourselves and not be afraid of change. We are a talented people, but too often we allow our past to follow us to our detriment. There is strength in knowing where you have come from, but we cannot allow ourselves to be paralyzed by our historical circumstance. We all came to these islands under different conditions. we are no longer who our forefathers were. We are what we have made of ourselves. You're about to enter an exciting world. It is a place where you will be able to make your dreams come true. The possibilities are endless. To be successful, you need to be curious, innovative, analytical, to communicate well, to be a team player. And most important, you have to have strong ethical values. Always define yourself by the substance of your character. As an educated West Indian, you hold a special responsibility to your community to provide assistance to those of us who have been less fortunate. I would like to encourage each of you to mentor a young person who, without your help, will fail. That way, you will make our communities stronger and our societies better. As the poet has said, the greatness of a person is not in how much wealth they acquire, but in their integrity and their ability to affect those around them positively. I would like to see a renewed sense of civic responsibility. Our geography, our history, our size, our culture, our economies give us reason to consider each other as family. This university, spread as it is across the region, represents all of our commonalities and all of our differences. You are now part of the UWI family. Use it to your advantage. Your graduation is a time to rejoice, to celebrate your success with your family and friends. It represents a crossroads in your life and the lives of your parents, your guardians, and those who played a part in getting you to this point. Those who supported you on this journey have much to be proud of today. This is as much their success as it is yours. Never underestimate the huge contribution of your family and friends to your success. We should reflect for a moment on the damage that has been done to our sister island as a consequence of Hurricane Irma and Maria, along with the recent massive flooding that has taken place in Trinidad. It reminds us how susceptible we are to climate change and natural disasters. The responses to these crises have reassured us that we are a caring people. In Grenada, after the graduation ceremony for the open campus, I was asked to sign a graduation booklet for Tessa Flavian, a St. Lucian graduate who did not attend the ceremony. Tessa, who graduated with a BSc in Social Science, first-class honors, donated the money that she had set aside to come to her graduation to the relief effort in Dominica. Tessa has set an example for all of us of selfless leadership. Acts like this keep us strong We know the rebuilding process will be long and hard. Today, you all are inheriting the problems and the blessings of your country. The responsibility is now yours to shoulder. Today, as graduates of this university, you are proud West Indians. Be prepared to give to your community, your country, and your region. Each of you, have the power, the ability, and the opportunity to build the country of your dreams. I wish every single one of you the very best in your life ahead. I will now read the official preamble to start the ceremony. We are met today in order that we may mark by a formal ceremony the entry of certain of our members into the company of graduates and the academic achievement of others. As a university, we are an academic society of undergraduates, bachelors, masters, and doctors, and we follow the academic tradition in pursuit of knowledge and the encouragement of learning, the purposes of which are laid down in the preamble of the Royal Charter by which we have been granted the power needful for the prosecution of these affairs. In pursuing these aims, our members advance from time to time to a higher standing in the academic community. It is proper that as a body, we should celebrate their achievement. It is marked by the granting of a degree or diploma or certificate, and we rejoice with our graduates on their achievements. Thank you.
Chancellor, I now ask the public orator, Professor Christine Carrington, to present Professor Emeritus Clem Ciceran, whom the Senate and the Council of the University have been pleased to recommend for the award of the degree of Doctor of Letters honoris causa.
Chancellor, Clem Ciceran is Emeritus Professor of History and former Head of Caribbean Studies at the London Metropolitan University. Born in 1950 into a humble family of cattlemen in Berbice, Guyana, Clem displayed an inquiring mind and a love for books at an early age. His parents had not had the opportunity to progress beyond primary school education and were determined that their children would do better. They never skimped on buying books. Clem's father would marvel at how Clem always had a book in his hand and would jokingly complain about having to build bookshelves. Clem attended the Sheet Anchor Anglican School, the Berbice Educational Institute, and then transferred to Queen's College. At Berbice Educational Institute, there was no opportunity to pursue the sciences, so when Clem moved to Queen's College, he tried to remedy this with a crash course in sciences. It was a self-described total disaster, for which we are all extremely grateful, for he is precisely where he is meant to be, and we are all richer for it. Encouraged by his teachers, and thanks to the free public libraries in colonial Guyana, he was an avid reader of weekly periodicals and devoured books by a broad range of authors, including Naipaul, Selvon, and other emerging Caribbean writers. He was profoundly impacted by Nehru's discovery of India and C.L.R. James's Beyond a Boundary. which he confesses to having read at least 20 times. These books were to be the bedrock underlying Seacharan's subsequent academic inquiries into Indo-Guyanese and West Indian cricket history. After high school, he moved on to McMaster's University in Canada, where he gained his BA and MA in anthropology between 1970 and 1977. He then returned to Guyana and taught Caribbean studies at the University of Guyana for several years. Seacharan enrolled to pursue a PhD in anthropology at the UWI St. Augustine campus, but he became bored with the topic. He had also run out of money, and so he headed back to Guyana. His short stay at the St. Augustine campus did, however, serve to ignite a passion for West Indian and Caribbean history. In particular, he was inspired by the works of historians Bridget Brereton and also Brinsley Samaru, Donald Wood, and Walter Rodney. Professor David Daberdeen had just established the Center for Caribbean Studies at the University of Warwick, so Seacharan contacted him with his ideas for research into the history of Indians in Guyana. Daberdeen was impressed, and according to Seacharan in 1986, quote, brought me from rearing cattle in Guyana to Warwick and turned me into an intellectual, end of quote. Seacharan credits Chris Daberdeen and he credits David Daberdeen and his wife Chris as his greatest influences and strongest supporters. Seacharan gained his PhD in history in 1990 and joined the staff of the University of North London, which is now part of the London Metropolitan University, where he remained for the rest of his academic career. He is the author of 11 books, several of which have received highest praise. They include Sweetening Bitter Sugar, Jock Campbell, the Booker Reformer in British Guyana, 1934 to 1966. In 2005, this book was awarded the prestigious Elsa Govaya Prize by the Association of Caribbean Historians. The citation spoke of a genuinely majestic work that, I quote, made an outstanding contribution to several complementary fields by effortlessly melding biography with a number of relevant themes: local Guyanese history, the politics and personality of the late Cheddi Jagan, British imperial history, Booker Brothers Company history, sugar plantations during and after the Great Depression, general health and housing, trade unionism, and technological innovations, end of quote. Seacharan was head of the Caribbean Studies at the London Metropolitan University for 20 years and was responsible for the introduction of a popular course in West Indian cricket history. His contributions to the literature in this area include From Ranji to Rohan, which explores the role of cricket in shaping Indo-Guyanese identity, and also Muscular Learning, Cricket and Education in the Making of the British West Indies at the end of the 19th century, which identifies the role of cricket in the development of the black middle class. His current project is a 4-volume, hand-in-hand history of cricket in Guyana, of which the first volume is already published and the second is in press. Seacharan coined the phrase muscular learning to refer to learning that empowers and inspires self-respect, self-confidence, and pride in your antecedents. Described as an inspirational teacher, Seacharan has imparted muscular learning on over 1,000 students, most of them Black British students, the first in their families to attend university, and who were never previously exposed to aspects of their Caribbean background. These students are understandably and deservedly what he considers his most important achievement. His work, Finding Myself, Essays in Race, Politics, and Culture, includes his own muscular learning journey, revealing the strength of generations of women stretching back to his grandmother Kyla, who made the journey from India to British Guyana. Chancellor, I present Clem Seacharan. I ask that by the authority vested in you, by the Council and Senate of the University of the West Indies that you confer on him the degree Doctor of Letters honoris causa.
Before you start, let me confer on behalf of the Senate and Council of the University of the West Indies, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Letters honoris causa of the University of the West Indies. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Chancellor. It's a great honor. Thank you. Professor Carrington, thank you very much. I'm going to need some help to get through those doors because the head is slightly swollen. Chancellor of the University of the West Indies, Mr. Robert Bermudez, Vice Chancellor, Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, Pro Vice Chancellor and Campus Principal, Open University, Open Campus, Dr. Luce Longsworth, Pro Vice Chancellor and Campus Principal, St. Augustine Campus, Professor Brian Copeland, Deputy Campus Principal, the UWI Cave Hill Campus, Professor R. Clive Landis, Pro Vice Chancellor, Graduate Studies and Research, Professor Dale Weber, Deputy Campus Principal, the UWI St. Augustine Campus, Professor Indar Ramnarayan, Professor University Registrar, Mr. C. William Eiton, Campus Registrar, Mr. Richard Saunders, Campus Librarian, Mr. Frank Sudin, Public Orator, Professor Christine Carrington, former Campus Principal, Professor Emerita Bridget Brereton, Secretary, the UWI Alumni Association, Trinidad and Tobago Chapter, Ms. Lana Spencer, Deans and other members of senior management and staff of the UWI St. Augustine Campus, Valedictorian Ms. Carissa Bridgelal, President of the Guild of Students, Mr. Jonathan St. Louis Nahus, and other members of the Guilds of Students. My guests, Chris Bond, the most important person in my life, Dr. Tulsi Singh, who has been a great source of inspiration for me for over 60 years, Mrs. Claudette Singh, Dr. Puran Singh, another great friend of mine, Mrs. Savitri Singh, Professor Brinsley Samaru, Professor Bridget Brereton again, Mr. Derek Murray, Mr. Sinat Jairam, SC, Mr. Ashraf Ali, Professor Clement Sankat, who unfortunately is not here, and finally, the late Professor Alistair Hennessy and Professor David Debedine. Whenever I return to St. Augustine, it is necessarily a kind of homecoming. For I started my PhD on this campus in the history department exactly 36 years ago. But I had to drop out after a year when it was discovered that I was a citizen of Guyana, therefore required to pay the full foreign students' fees. I had no money. I was broke. Is it possible, therefore, that the University of the West Indies is atoning for ancient wrongs by awarding me the D.Lit today. Never mind. It is a marvelous affirmation of my work by the only magnificent institution in our region. And as Professor Beckles and I used to say, we had another one, but that's no longer so. I prize this award highly. I will cherish the honor until the day they plant me. I wish to congratulate all the graduates who've had to work infinitely harder than me in order to gain your award. You have earned yours. You will soon be facing new, demanding challenges. My message to you is very simple. Do not succumb to adversity. Cultivate the belief that boundaries are not barriers. They are conquerable. Draw from each experience, whatever its outcome, incremental means of going beyond all boundaries. Yet, be humble in seeking to learn from and be inspired by the few whom you believe can enrich your vision and sustain your resolve. It is extraordinary that 3 of my foremost exemplars who enabled me to find myself and go beyond boundaries are Trinidadians. The first is CLR James, who grew up in Tunapuna and whose resting place is less than a mile from here. I must have been 15, no more, in colonial Guyana when I discovered his masterpiece of 1963, Beyond the Boundary, one of the great books of the 20th century. I have read it over 20 times. It has shaped my life in very many ways. It helped me to find the center. In Beyond the Boundary, CLR states that his choice of cricket clubs after the First World War was rather limited. All the main clubs in colonial Trinidad were constituted on the basis of race, color, and class. Queen's Park was the premier one. Its members, primarily white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, with a sprinkling of very light coloreds who could often pass as white. Shamrock was the club of the Catholics, mainly the French Creoles, with a sprinkling of Madeiran Portuguese, accepted eventually after they had risen through commerce. Both of these clubs were obviously inaccessible to CLR. So too was Constabulary, comprising predominantly black policemen. Stingo was the club of the lowest of the low, black plebeians, the butcher, the tailor, the candlestick maker, the casual laborer with a sprinkling of unemployed. James says, it was inconceivable that a young man of his pedigree and aspirations, his standing, could have joined Stingo. No way, no way. The best fast bowler at the time in the West Indies, George John, played for Stingo. So too did one of the best batsmen, Joe Small. They both represented the West Indies in England in 1923. Yet, joining their club would have sullied CLR's reputation irreparably. He explains that Stingo was totally black and had no social status whatsoever. Queen's Park and Shamrock were too high, and Stingo was too low, very low. I accepted this as easily in one case as I did in the other. This left James with two choices: Maple or Shannon. He should have gone naturally to Shannon because it was the club of the black lower middle class, the home of the redoubtable Constantines, Lebrun and Leary, father and son, Victor Pascal, Leary's mother's brother, and the gifted but mercurial batsman, Wilton St. Hill, in addition to Ben Seeley and several others of distinction and abundant self-esteem. They were apparently ready to welcome CLR James because he possessed the cricketing credentials and he was socially of their ilk. But CLR went light to Maple, the club of the colored middle class, brown-skinned people. CLR explains, and I quote, "The social milieu in which I had been brought up was working on me. I was teaching. I was known as a man cultivated in literature. I was giving lectures to learned societies on Wordsworth and Longfellow. Already, I was writing. I moved easily in any society in which I found myself. I became one of those dark men whose surest sign of having arrived is the fact that he keeps company with people lighter in complexion than himself." I have this in bold, so I'd like you to listen to this very carefully, because this is the real message of this thing. But the Shannon Club, that's the club of the black lower middle class, the club of the Constantines and the St. Hills. But the Shannon Club played with a spirit and relentlessness, and they were supported by the crowd with a jealous enthusiasm, which even then showed the social passions which were using cricket as a medium of expression. It was not mere skill. They played as if they knew that their club represented the great mass of black people in this island. As clearly as if it was written across the sky, Shannon's play said, "Here on the cricket field, if nowhere else, all men in the island are equal, and we are the best on this island." No Australian team could teach them anything in relentless concentration. They missed few catches and looked upon one of their own who committed such a crime as a potential fifth columnist. The crowd did not look at Stingo in the same way. Stingo did not have status enough. Stingo did not show that pride and impersonal ambition which distinguished Shannon. Shannon's single-minded pursuit of excellence, what I call Shannonism, became the beacon that inspired C.L.R. James, as it has for me over the last 30 years or so. I rarely feel the compulsion now to look over my shoulders. I am not afraid to challenge sacred cows. Fortified by Shannonism, you too will have the confidence to fight your corner. Don't let anyone intimidate you into abandoning any principle you consider worthy of defending. And the time to do so is when you still have the freedom to do so. But Shannonism, engendering a profound sense of purpose, requires continuity of effort and self-belief. As another great Trinidadian, Larry Constantine, recalls, his father, Larry's father, LeBrun Constantine, was the first black cricketer to represent Trinidad in September 1893. He was seminal in the making of Shannonism. Larry explains, "You are not allowed to miss anything. If one ball got away from you and then another, it was as well as if you were far from him. Because if you were near, he would give you a rap on the head, sheer carelessness, sheer carelessness. To him, the unforgivable sin. Often, he put us to stand just a few feet behind his back and hit the catches over his shoulders while we caught them. With his strong wrists and forearms, he could hit fairly hard in any direction. They were awkward to judge, but that was not accepted as an excuse for missing. My father's theory being simplicity itself. If you were paying attention, you did not miss. Pay attention, and again, pay attention. To this day, I pay attention, and when I don't, my side suffers. My final Trinidadian exemplar, St. Augustine, born just across the road from here, Ian MacDonald, poet, writer, and an honorary graduate of this university. He gave me the will to go on after I had lost self-belief and was languishing on a plateau of indecision and despair, following an unannounced and an unwelcome return to Guyana in 1982. Ian MacDonald gave me an enduring symbol of possibilities. In reality, a kind of resurgence of Shannonism, my rediscovery of ambition and the will to strive for it. So when eventually I did finish my doctoral thesis in England at the Center for Caribbean Studies at the University of Warwick, I gave it a title drawn from the creative imagination of this remarkably inspiring man. I wish to leave with you an excerpt of Ian MacDonald's brief tale called Tiger in the Stars. I quote from Ian MacDonald. When he was a boy, the old man, it may have been his grandfather, used to tell him about the time he came across the Kalapani, the dark waters from India. It seemed like months, if not years, the voyage lasted. And the one clear memory the old man had was that each night on deck, he looked at the stars blazing in the sky, and gradually, as night succeeded night, his eyes, coached by the imagination, gradually picked out of the shape a tiger leaping in the star amidst the constellations. This is what he recalled in the hardship and the monotony and the homesickness of the journey. A tiger leaping in the sky amid the stars. And he told it to his grandson, and his grandson told it to me, and he traced himself for me, that tiger shape still blazing in the sky. And now, at nights, at certain times of the year, I still look up and I think of the old man on his long voyage and the generations who have done well after him. And it seems to me the tiger leaping in the stars must become for him a sort of symbol of pride, of strength, of beauty, which he could not then hope to possess, but which perhaps he could yearn for in his new land one day. And it seems to me also that the generations have not misplaced the symbol or the old man's yearning. I thank you very much. This is a great honor, and I thank you all for being here. Thank you.
We will now have a musical presentation by Keyshawn Julian, who is pursuing a degree in musical arts at the Department of Creative and Festival Arts, and is also a member of the UWI Art Steel. This morning he performed Shahdaz.
Sir, the persons whose names will be called, having studied in the University of the West Indies and having fulfilled the requirements of the University of the West Indies, beg leave to be presented to you and to the Senate of the University by the representative of the Faculty of Humanities and Education as Bachelor of Arts or Education, or as holders of diplomas or certificates of the University of the West Indies. Sir, the Dean of the Faculty of Humanities and Education, Dr. Heather Cato.
Sir, my colleagues and I ask you to receive, as graduate members of our society, these persons present, who, having fulfilled the requirements of the university, have been admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Education, or have been awarded diplomas or certificates of this university.
By the authority vested in me, I receive these persons whose names are about to be called as graduate members of our society and confer diplomas and certificates of this university.
The Bachelor of Arts, Ambiola Akenyeke. Akim Alexis. Hannah Ali. Salma Ali. Yasser Ali. Maria Andrews. With first-class honors, Amari Ashby. With first-class honors, Nakia Asin. Nakisha Balkaran. Dana Balkisoon. Kanisha Barkley. Jerome Barrimond. Christine Basdale. Camille Basdale. Sadie Baxter. Shanice Bihari. Lydia Bertrand. Maureen Bagana. Taran Bagwandin. Jeffrey Biddle. Stacy Budai. With first-class honors, Karicha Bridgelal. Jade Bridgemahon. Crystal Brown. Carlisle Burrows. Janais Carter. Otrisa Carter. Sharice Caruth. Zayamara Shulan. Nikisha Clarkston. Joanne Clement. Trinity Coburn. With first-class honors, Tonya Le Constantine. Chanel Cooper. Colleen Cox. Seidel Crosby. Shanice Koju. Chanel Cupid. Karel Dabadine. Marlon DeBeek. Denicia De La Rosa. Kagan Denny. Brianna Deanna Ryan. Maria Diaz. With first-class honors, Tamara Dixon. Malika Dick St. Louis. Oswald Jr. DePigney. Joanna Edmond. With first-class honors, Rachel Edwards. With first-class honors, Maxine Ferreira. Daniel Floyd. Asher Ford. Petra Forrestine Roxburgh. Leah Foster. Rachel Franklin. Tasha Frank. Afia Gabriel. Kimberly Gabriel. Cheyenne Garcia Singh. Amanda Gaia. Alicia George Batiste. Mikhail Gibbons. Mackenzie Gooden. Leah Maria Griffith. Thais Gulston. Lyndon Harrington. Shay Harrison. With first-class honors, Shadonna Hazard. Chanel Hazard. Mira Harilal Mahabir. With first-class honors, Jeanne Hennings. Kesrian Hicks. With first-class honors, Zion Innes. Kevin Jack. Nikis John. Tiffany Johnson. Giselle Jonas. With first class honors, Esther Marie Jones. Joanna Joseph. Kim Joshua. Abigail Kennedy. Kenisa Kennedy. Audriana Kadana. Dylan Khan. Jennifer Kismat Ali. Esther Lakana. Rochelle Lilinga. Michelle Leonard. Sophia Leps. Patrice Lightbourne. With first class honors, Shayna Lacour Karim. Dacia Lopez. Cherise Lucas. Ria Mahabir. Deborah Maitland. Samantha Mirage. Shiva Mirage. Susha Mirage. Delisa Marshall. Chanel Martin. Alicia Matura. Giselle McIntyre. Miriam McComey. Letitia McSween. Solange Mendoza. Anderson Mitchell. Samiha Mohammed. Shane Mohammed. With first class honors, Talisha Mohammed. Tanika Mohammed. Sheralda Moore. With first class honors, Tasha Morris. Kyla Michael Garcia. Vidya Nanku Haru. Ridge Nanlal. Rajay Lanlal. With first class honors, Leslie Nathaniel. Johan Oliver. Batista Pacheco. Valerie Patrick. Dylan Ferreira. Hillary Pear. Shalma Rahim. Shanti Rajkumar. Stephanie Ramadar. Raisa Ramdani. Ria Ramlal. Namrita Ramuta. Angela Ramphal. Diana Ramsaran. Michael Ramsingh. Ajnelia Rees. Jarell Riley. Jemima Rivas. Rain Rivas. Jamie Robinson. Renata Rodney. Stefan Roger. Nyla Romano. Kristen Ross. With first class honors, Kyle Sahadeo. Jesse Sambrano. Sarah Saki. Regina Sebrun. Wayne Seeley. With first class honors, Catherine Serrant. Annalise Singer. Tasha Solomon. Shavana Sudin. Sharice Ivana Sukram. With first class honors, Siobhan Sukram. Sangeeta Sobnayak. Chanel Sudin. Anthony Somerville. Kim Sylvester. Vishal Chikasingh. Keda Temple. Antonia Thomas. Shireen Thomas. Daniil Torres. Ashley Weeks. With first class honors, Amara White. Seal Williams. Camilla Williams. Kemoy Williams. Tonya Lee Williams, Ivana Winchester, Gabrielle White, with first class honors, Amanda Ziller, Khadija Bayer, with first class honors, Kathy Beckles, with first class honors, Genevieve Hindman, Tanisha Sylvester, Ayana Gayadine, with first class honors, Renelle Lee Harris, Shanice Samuel, Villon Stanley, Simone Monroe, Natalie Sipasad, Carissa Charles, Dinalicia Charles, Candice Dickerson, with first class honors, Chrysia Fabian, Javon Bernard, Jamila Small, Avion Mills, Melissa Canna, with first class honors, Michelle Morrison, with first class honors, Annalisa Wickham, Don Juan Acosta, Darcel Sorello, Monique Puckerin, Ariana Thomas, Crestel Lafou, Ria Ali, Shanande Patterson, Shanice Lewis, with first class honors, Risa Samuel, Anil Ruknarain, Ravina Balchan, Whitney Ann Batiste, the Certificate in Dance and Dance Education, Nicole Carter, Shade Chance, Kritia Lewis, the Certificate in Music, Ranel Alcantara, the Certificate in Technical Theatre Production, Michaela Van Rose, Paula Lindu, Aaron Mohammed. The Certificate in Visual Arts, Chantel Barry. Marie-Louise Belmar. Jessica Resal. Corianne Chin. The Practitioner's Certificate in Drama or Theatre Education, Jason Adams. Anissa Hassan. The Bachelor of Education, Charmaine Alexis. Taliba Ali. Cindy Arjun. Luana Armstrong. Eva Ayers. Akima Boatswain. Lilawati Budai. With first class honors, Felice Boyer. Jean Charles. Teresha Shadik. Afia Klein. Vanell Douglas. Sherrianne Francis. Shania Fraser. Cindy Gardner. Tanil Gonzalez. Anna Marie Goring. Nadira Haripasada. Vanessa Henry. Namala Hossain. With first class honors, Kamisha Inns. Marsha Jarvis. Anora Jarvis Charles. Camille John. Tanel Kangal. With first class honors, Carencia King. Andrew Kaulessa. With first class honors, Petrina Liang Ali. Michelle Laldeo Rampasad. Rina Lalu. Makala Lewis Joseph. Shamila Maharaj. Rohelia Mars. Angeli Modis. Chanel Mohammed. With first class honors, Farah Mohammed. With first class honors, Marika Mohana. Sherman Nelson. With first class honors, Sharon Patea. With first class honors, Sharon Peel. Sangeeta Prasad Deonat. Trinell Peters. Melanie Ransom. Cardia Raymond. Jennifer Richardson. With first class honors, Richard Samlal Singh. Avalon Sandy. Shavana Sue. Sophia Singh Ward. With first class honors, Lakshmi Suknanan. Shiana Teraldul. Chandel Small. Katian Randolph. And Mika Jagmohana. Laura Maharaj. Mala Maharaj. Renice Dillon. Princess Burgeon. The Certificate in Early Childhood Care and Development, Parvati Naubat Ganis. The Bachelor of Arts, Priya Ramcharan.
I now call on Krishan Brijlal, Bachelor of Arts, major in Literature, minor in Psychology, minor in Human Resources, with first class honors, to deliver the valedictory address.
Chancellor, the University of the West Indies, Mr. Robert Bermudez. Vice Chancellor, Professor Sir Hilary Beckles. Honorary Graduand and Guest Speaker, Professor Emeritus Clem Seacharan. Pro-Vice Chancellor and Campus Principal, Open Campus, Dr. Luz Longsworth. Pro-Vice Chancellor and Campus Principal, St. Augustine Campus, Professor Brian Copeland. Deputy Campus Principal, the UWI Cave Hill Campus, Professor Clive Landis. Pro-Vice Chancellor, Graduate Studies and Research, Professor Dale Weber. Deputy Campus Principal, the UWI St. Augustine Campus, Professor Inder Ramnarayan. University Registrar, Mr. William Aiton. Campus Register, Mr. Richard Saunders. Campus Bursar, Ms. Andrea Taylor Hanna. Campus Librarian, Mr. Frank Sudin. Public orator, Professor Christine Carrington, former campus principal, Professor Emeritus Bridget Brereton, Secretary, the UWI Alumni Association, Trinidad and Tobago Chapter, Ms. Lana Spencer, deans and other members of senior management and staff of the UWI St. Augustine campus, President of the Guild of Students, Mr. Jonathan St. Louis Nahus, and other members of the Guild of Students, members of the private and public sectors, executive management of other tertiary level institutions, members of the media, our specially invited guests, graduating class of 2017, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome and good morning to all. I am honored and grateful to have been chosen to deliver the 2017 Valedictorian Address. This task has been somewhat intimidating since I am faced with the challenge of what more can I say to such an illustrious group of achievers. At these ceremonies, we often hear, "Today is the day we become citizens of the world." But for many of us, our lives as citizens of this world have begun long before this moment. It began when we decided to pursue this path of academia so we could equip ourselves to better contribute to our society. It began when we were held accountable to show that the efforts and sacrifices made by our families of paying rent and tuition have resulted in our success today. We will hear now that in the working world, we can't be sheltered. We always have to be ready. But we've known that our job as students has prepared us to always show up ready for everything, despite the troubles at home, despite the emotional turmoil or unforeseen circumstances that surround us. We have proved we can take on everything from waking up very early to travel or drive to campus, to balancing different courses with assignments all due on the same day, from working full-time and rushing to class, to living in a country where even in campus our safety can be threatened. My fellow graduates, I am not here to tell you the cliche that our lives begin today, because we have been living, we have been surviving, and being present in spec today, proudly wearing that gown and hood, we can celebrate because we have been thriving. From matriculation to graduation, and all the sleepless nights of working hard or hardly working in between, we are here at this particular finish line together. UE has taught us so much. For instance, the 9 digits we recorded at the top of every exam paper or assignment are now permanently embedded in memory so that we'd sooner forget our name than ID number. We've learned one of the biggest internal battles anyone can face is making it on time to an 8 a.m. lecture. Just like the only way you could be late for a class outside campus is if you actually wait for the shuttle. Coming here has taught us that old friends can drift apart, but after anxiously walking into a tutorial for the first time, we'd make friends with the person next to us and form a connection 100 times stronger than the UE Wi-Fi signal. For many of us, our parents always told us that only when we start working, we will learn the value of $1. But it's UE that taught us the true value of $20 with the Subway special and the gone, but not forgotten, KFC real deal. Joking aside, our experience here at the University of the West Indies has played an essential part in shaping us as individuals and as citizens. Our accomplishments could not have been possible without our faith and the guidance and love of God. We thank also our lecturers and tutors for leading and advising us when we needed it, for being understanding when we couldn't meet that deadline, but for being firm when they noticed we were falling behind. At this moment, allow me to remember the late Dr. Giselle Rampol. Dr. Rampol was the heart of the Literatures in English program and an integral figure in our faculty, our very own Shakespearean expert, gone too soon. She was the type of lecturer to always go the extra mile for her students. I'm sure each of us knows someone like that. Last year, while she presented at the Globe Theatre in England, she sent 3 of us to represent her at the Queen of England's birthday celebrations hosted by the British High Commission. I can still recall her excitement as she messaged us to send her pictures and detailed descriptions of what we saw and who we met. May she rest in peace. For us graduates, most importantly, we thank our parents and our families for their unwavering support, unyielding patience, and unfailing love. Without them, reaching this milestone may not even have been possible. On my own behalf, I thank my mother, Angie, for the sacrifices she continues to make so that I can achieve my dreams, and for her strength during the most difficult year for my family. She has been my role model, instilling in me the value of education in these times. My thanks also go to my father, Rajendra, and stepmother, Meena, for always being there, believing in me, and working so hard to support me. Graduates, we should also be proud and thankful for the strength and determination we garnered within us to reach this pinnacle in our lives. History graduates, in addition to becoming more aware of our identity and journey as a people, you have devised new insights and understandings of our past along the way. In many ways, you invoke Marcus Garvey, who said, "A people without the knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots." Thank you, and congratulations on keeping our roots strong and irrigated. Graduates of the Department of Creative and Festival Arts, you are the ones who will take that history and culture and ensure the leaves and flowers of that tree flourish. You see life with such vibrancy and color, and you remind the rest of us that we need to do the same. Your exhibition of Caribbean art, showcases of Caribbean diasporic music, and your dance, theater, and spoken word performances each represent a living element of how we continue to retain our culture and express the sublime narrative of Caribbean identity. A word for the bilinguists and trilinguists and polyglots of the Department of Modern Languages and Linguistics. You are proof that learning and understanding another language is not just functional, but requires an existential immersion. Language is the branches of the tree that connects us all. It is the basis by which we as a people can relate and communicate with one another. No están de acuerdo, don't you agree? I hope you always remember the foreign movie nights or the picnics outside your little home away from home, CLL. School of Education and ELLE graduates, congratulations and our thanks in advance for the guidance, learning, and mentorship you will provide our region's youth. The future is literally in your hands as you respond to the ongoing crisis in our education system, where many of our nation's young minds and voices are silenced, their potential untapped, and their contributions undervalued. You have the ability to harvest what you've learned and replant the seeds of knowledge that will shape their growth. And to the graduates of the Literary, Cultural, and Communication Studies Department, Communication Studies graduates, you've taken communication beyond language and words. You've created a lush, rich forest of interpretations, by assessing between the lines of the signs and symbols that are transmitted during the communicative process and how they are interpreted within political, economic, cultural, and semiotic dimensions. As you leave here, it is my hope that you continue to execute that same critical understanding in our wider society. My fellow literatures and English graduates, we are the ones that bridge the gap between critical and creative thought. We provide a unified front for the Caribbean literary perspective. In his Nobel Prize lecture, Derek Walcott stated that there is a force of exaltation, a celebration of luck, when a writer finds himself a witness to the early morning of a culture that is defining itself branch by branch, leaf by leaf. While at UWI, we have been adding to the canon of Caribbean literature, but I urge you, my friends and colleagues, to propel your voice and perspective even further because it does not end here. I look forward to seeing your publications and your other contributions as you continue to develop frameworks by which literature is understood and created. My late grandmother was my confidant and the biggest supporter in my life. She passed away earlier this year, just before my final exams. My family postponed her funeral so I could write my first final before I went home. As I drove home with my father, through tears I asked him, what was the point of all this time I spent on campus studying when I could have been with her when it mattered? What am I even doing here? He looked at me and said, the sacrifices you make now will pay off in the long run. It doesn't matter if life does not work out as planned. What matters is that you are improving yourself. Never underestimate what you are capable of achieving. That, my fellow graduates, is the core message I'd like to convey to you. The humanities are underestimated and often overlooked. We see it every day in the linear train of thought throughout society. We see it in the scholarships distributed by our government that are skewed towards the sciences, towards math, towards technology. We read online about the global epidemic of the termination of humanities departments worldwide. We even underestimate ourselves in moments of weakness. How many of us have been posed with the condescending question, so what do you think you could do with that degree when you're finished? Or perhaps you've heard, maybe writing and performing could be a thing on the side. You need to get a stable job first. There may be times when we feel like Sisyphus, forced to continually roll the boulder uphill. But remember this, our academic interests and our passions matter. To us, obviously. But to those who may not even recognize what we do here, they are neither meaningless nor futile. It is our responsibility as we are presented with the opportunities of proving to society the capabilities of the humanities. And where there aren't opportunities, well, we will create them. Because that is what the humanities represents, the exploration of creative, insightful, critical, and independent thought, the kind of thought that cannot be stifled and cannot be contained. We are the ones whose responsibility it is to harness our skills and abilities and to use our platforms from social media to the digital humanities to make sense of the world. We are the ones who must solidify the relevance and significance of our fields by advocating for the arts and for freedom of humanistic expressions. We are the writers. We are the storytellers. We are the filmmakers. We are the linguists. We are the performers. We are the artists. We are the commentators and communicators. We are the critical thinkers. We are the creatives. We are the best UWI has to offer. Congratulations to the University of the West Indies Faculty of Humanities and Education's graduating class of 2017.
Sir, I now ask Professor Dale Weber, Pro-Vice Chancellor, Graduate Studies and Research, to present to you members of our society for the award of higher degrees.
Sir, I present to you these members of our society who, having fulfilled the requirements of this university, have been awarded postgraduate certificates, diplomas, and have been admitted to master's degrees, and beg that you recognize their advancement in our society.
By the authority vested in me, I confer on these persons whose names are about to be called postgraduate certificates and diplomas and master's degrees in this university and recognize their advancement in our society.
Faculty of Humanities and Education, School of Education. Postgraduate Diploma in Education. Intercab Ali with distinction. Rashida Ali Duki. Tisha Alain with distinction. Laura Balak with distinction. Aisha Batiste. Vanessa Bartlett Gooding with distinction. Carol Beach. Abigail Bedeau with distinction. Carrie Benjamin. Betty Brown. Crystal Carmichael. Kim Cleveland. Cindy Cunningham. Janelle Doki Singh with distinction. Neelasham Dipnarayan with distinction. Wendy Edgehill with distinction. Steffi Edwards. Shivana Emmerich. Fiola Ford with distinction. Marissa Francois Manses. Sherilyn Garcia Balcran with distinction. Desiree Glasgow. Jelena Gomez. Faria Hayatali with distinction. Michelle Jerome Joseph with distinction. Shireen Khan Alexander. Esther Ruth Knights. Damian Lergerton. Neela Maharaj Mahabir. Kishni Devi Manikchand with distinction. Nisha Miraj with distinction. Omari Martin with distinction. Nicole Mitchell. Nishad Mohammed with distinction. Nadia Pierre with distinction. Karina Remay with distinction. Nisha Ramdio. Chantal Ramdial. Rishma Ramprasad with distinction. Camille Renwick with distinction. Candace Romeo. Karen Rupnarayan with distinction. Stacy Sagram with distinction. Alex Simmons with distinction. Lauren Singh with distinction. Alana Springer with distinction. Melissa Sylvester. Janika Tudor with distinction. Gregory Wales. Gabrielle Williams with distinction. Gilda Williams. Patricia Williams with distinction. Leslie Ann Williams Hacksaw with distinction. St. Augustine Campus, Faculty of Humanities and Education, School of Humanities. Postgraduate Certificate in University Teaching and Learning. Daniela Ramos Cisteros. Postgraduate Diploma in Interpreting Techniques, Roger Lezama. Shanna Marie Mohammed. From the Mona campus, Master of Arts in Higher Education, Student Personal Administration, Anne Clements Curtin. From the Open campus, Master in Adult and Continuing Education, Kerry Morley. Debbie Murray. Keisha Richards Huggins. Olive Smith. Master of Education in Literacy Instruction, Alison Alley. Yolanda Mitchell. The St. Augustine campus, Master of Arts in Leadership in Technical and Vocational Education and Training and Workforce Development, Kathy Damasio White with distinction. Annalisa Stewart with distinction. Master of Education, Concentration in Curriculum, Siobhan Alciran. Ritish Biput. Sean Benjamin with distinction. Madej Barath. Rena Braffett with distinction. Patricia Claxton with distinction. Tracy Elcock with distinction. Wendy Halls. Delia Lalchan with distinction. Nicola Mark with distinction. Farisha Mohammed Gaffor, Alison Rambali, Carol Ramcharan, Kezia Rampal, Mala Ramsaran, Uma Ramsamir, Chrisali Reyes, Golda Sutherland Calsing, Shoba Timo, Master of Education, Concentration in Youth Guidance, Vernice Buchan Mansingh, Lavone Isaac Behola, with distinction. Rachel Maynard, Cynthia Panchu Sinath, Asha Pigot, Vishal Sukhan, Lisa Williams, Master of Education, Health Promotion, Cami Bob, Deborah Cunningham Morrison, Rhonda Joy Lewis with distinction, Jillian Rubin, Adora Toussaint, Sir, the first graduating class in the Masters of Education in Educational Leadership, Gerald Armstrong, Loveday Arthur Williams, Kumari Balcampbell, Marilyn Costello Ford, Kizian Cummings, Listra Das, Donnell Robinson, Corinne Rochford, Philip Rochford, Gary Sumara, Janine Williams, Master of Education in Inclusive and Special Education, Nikisha Boris, Miriam Craigwell, Marissa Jacob with distinction, School of Humanities from the Mona campus, Master of Arts in Communication for Social and Behavior Change, Cassian Braffett with distinction, from the St. Augustine campus, Master of Arts in Creative Design Entrepreneurship, Marissa Brooks, Annam Green, Carell John Dennis with distinction, Tamara Williams Gill, Master of Arts in History, Jillian Redhead. Master of Arts in Human Communication Studies, Myra Durham Alfred. Sherian Johnson. Jody Lucian Chase. Daniel McConney with distinction. Renee McSweeney with distinction. Paula Thomas with distinction. Master of Arts in Literatures in English, Divya Sukhdeo. Crystal Sylvester. Alistair Gonzalez. Geneva Flanders Hines with distinction. Martin Lane. Cindy Lewis. Sanaya Filbert. Lazana Ramsomer. Kirk Felix. Jillian Lane Joseph. Adana Pope. Charlene Joseph. Sir, for the Master of Philosophy in Education, I present Desrian Wilson. For the Master of Philosophy in Cultural Studies, Eduardo Brewster. For the Master of Philosophy in Cultural Studies, Gerard Tang Chun. Sir, I present to you these members of our society who, having fulfilled the requirements of this university, have been admitted to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, and beg that you recognize their advancement in our society.
By the authority vested in me, I confer on these persons whose names are about to be called the degree of Doctor of Philosophy of this university, and recognize their advancement in our society.
Sir, for the Doctor of Philosophy in Cultural Studies, I present Teresa Marie Francois. For the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Cultural Studies, with high commendation, I present Anthea Octave. Sir, for the Doctor of Philosophy in Education, I present Joan Bob Ward. Sir, for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Education, I present Mabrak Nkrumah. Sir, for the Doctor of Philosophy in Education, I present Renwick Paul. Sir, for the Doctor of Philosophy in Education, I present Daisy Rampersad. Sir, for the Doctor of Philosophy in Education, with high commendation, I present Lemoy Petit Hunt. Sir, for the Doctor of Philosophy in Linguistics, I present Diego Medeiros Camargo with high commendation. Sir, for the Doctor of Philosophy in Literatures in English, I present Nivedita Misra. Sir, for the Doctor of Philosophy, Literature in English, I present Karen Sanderson Cole with high commendation.
I now call on the Secretary of the UWI Alumni Association, Trinidad and Tobago Chapter, Ms. Lana Spencer, to lead the graduates in reciting the Alumni Pledge.
Graduates, congratulations on your recent achievement and welcome as the newest member to the UWI Alumni Fraternity. Beginning today, you are officially a UWI graduate and a proud UWI alumni. As the newest addition to our UE alumni family, we offer you free membership for the first year when you complete your application. You can get further information when you visit our desk in the assembly area outside. In addition, in recognition of the tremendous achievements of our faculty valedictorians, they will be presented with a special alumni package within the following weeks on behalf of the UWI Alumni Association, Trinidad and Tobago Chapter. I now invite you to please stand and turn to page 105 of your booklets and join me in saying the Alumni Pledge. Please repeat after me. As a graduate of the University of the West Indies, I commit myself to uphold the ideals and goals of my alma mater. My conduct and voice shall reflect the commitment to excellence of light rising from the west. As I fulfill my social and professional responsibilities and serve my community and region, I will strive to ensure the UWI's place as a Caribbean icon, the catalyst for Caribbean development and leadership. It is a legacy that I will proudly help build for future generations. The UWI, first in our hearts and first in our region. Congratulations. Please remain standing and turn to page 103 as we sing the graduate song. The university song, sorry.
On behalf of the class of 2017, I would like to thank everyone who has made this special event this morning possible. The valedictorian spoke of the contribution that her family made to her in her journey through university. And I'm sure every one of you all have a similar story. Today, your parents, your friends, your supporters are sitting here absolutely proud of your achievements. And I would like you to turn to them and give them an enormous round of applause in thanks for their support. This brings to a close the public ceremony by which the University of the West Indies has signaled the award of degrees, diplomas, and certificates to its graduates. The company will now disperse. If you will allow us to leave before you leave, thank you.